Welcome to the Fountas and Pinnell Benchmark Reading Assessment video series. Each video is a separate module detailing one topic related to benchmarking. These modules can be viewed in order or watched as separate components based on the needs of teachers. This module, Module 3, will focus on fluency with the Fountas and Pinnell benchmarking system. Within Module 3, participants will learn about the purpose of scoring fluency, look into what is fluency, review Fluency Guidelines, look at the Fluency Scoring Key, Levels A through N, System 1, Fluency Tutorials, Level L through Z, System 2, Fluency Tutorials, and Fluency Instructional Strategies for future lessons. Please read this quote from Heinemann. Discuss with your teammates how fluency affects comprehension and what that looks like when trying to link assessment to instruction. Fluency scores are not included in the reporting of Fountas and Pinnell benchmark levels to the Fargo Public Schools. However, each student's fluency score has implications on next teaching steps once the assessment is complete. One of the frequently asked questions participants may have is, what if I have a student who read a level with accuracy and understanding, but is not at all fluent? Should I go down a level for instruction? Fountas and Pinnell suggests that going down a level during small group instruction is not always the answer. Use the teaching prompts and procedures provided in the prompting guide to get a shift in fluency before moving down a level. Some students develop a habit of reading disfluently and might do so even at easy levels. Sometimes, if accuracy and understanding are there, you can teach intensively for fluency and get a shift in a short time. What is fluency? Fluency is more than fast reading. According to Fountas and Pinnell, fluency is broken down into the following 5 categories: rate, or the speed of reading; pausing, which means attending to punctuation marks; phrasing, such as chunking text into small, meaningful phrases; stress, that's emphasizing particular words to convey meaning; and intonation, expressive reading that sounds conversational. These categories, as well as scoring fluency, are further explained in the 6 Dimensions Fluency rubric in the Assessment Forms book. Consider these fluency guidelines. Fluency scores are used to inform future reading instruction. Fluency scores are not reported on the Fargo Public Schools recording form. Fluency scoring begins at level C. Typically, if a student is at an instructional level, their fluency score will be a 3. Also, a poor fluency rate will usually equate to poor comprehension. However, there are always exceptions. Poor fluency can have a satisfactory comprehension score, and a poor accuracy score with adequate fluency but poor comprehension may also be reported. This slide shows the fluency scoring rubric. Participants may want to pause on this slide and take time to discuss the criteria of the scores within the rubric. This helps to obtain a deeper understanding of what to look for when using the rubric as participants begin to assess students. The following slides offer practice tutorials for scoring fluency from each Fountas and Pinnell system, 3 from System 1 and 3 from System 2. Use these next set of slides as a guide. Choose which level is most appropriate for your professional learning. Play the embedded tutorial and complete the practice scoring activities. Please practice with as many tutorials as best meet the needs of participants. This is Fluency Tutorial number 1 at levels A through N in System 1. Please stop the video immediately after the student reads. At this time, score the student. You may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the video and listening to the commentary provided. When the participant is ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators and move to the next slide for more practice.
Okay. This story, Gloria, is called Our New Neighbors. Ben's family and other families on the street got a note from their new neighbors. In that note, their new neighbors invited them to see their surprise horses. Read to find out what kind of horses they were.
On Saturday morning, Ben saw an envelope in the front steps. Mom, Dad, Polly, he called. Look what I found. Dad read the note that was inside. Hello, neighbors. I just moved into the Bay House on the corner. Please come to a party next Saturday at 10 o'clock. We want to meet.
Notice how Gloria's voice changes and becomes a little robotic as she reads the embedded note in the story.
Horses, everyone looked at one another. Horses in our street, asked Dad. I hope they're ponies, said Ben. When I have birthday parties, we can have pony rides. I hope they're big white horses, and said Polly, maybe they'll give us a ride. Well, said Mom, that horse on the corner is just right for horses. Well, that just right for how it was a big yard, and there's that red barn in back. Look, said Ben. The neighbors are writing a note too. Mom and Dad called across the street. Did you get the note about the horse?
Gloria is stressing most words about the same and reading one word at a time. Occasionally, you can hear some appropriate stress on words.
What do you think it's all about? Mom asked the neighbor. I don't know, he said. I don't think that barn is big. Enough for horses. Other neighbors popped.
Working to solve words and rereading slows Glory down considerably. This behavior shows she is monitoring her reading and searching for information, but it undermines her fluency.
Over the fence,
Glory read this text at 92% accuracy and had a self-correction rate of 1 to 5. She did quite a bit of rereading to reconsider or self-correct, so it is evident that she is monitoring her reading closely. She shows many two-word phrases, but little expression,
Glory.
and she reads slowly because she's working on words.
All
Glory's reading of this text would be rated
are
a 1.
were
The teacher will be providing some modeling and some strong support in the introduction to the text in small group lessons. She may draw attention to some of the harder multisyllable words and also have the students practice some of the phrases and the dialogue.
Read the rest to yourself.
This is Fluency tutorial number 2 at levels A through N in System 1. Please stop the video immediately after the student reads. At this time, score the student. As the participant, you may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the DVD and listening to the commentary provided. When the participant is ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators before moving on to the next slide for more practice.
The nice little house. In this story, each animal went into a little house and said, "What a nice little house." Read and find out what happened when all the animals went in. The nice little house.
The horse went in the little house. What a nice house, little house, said the horse. The cow went in the little house. What a nice little house, said the cow. The pig went in the house, little house. The pig said, "What a nice little house."
Isabella is reading word by word with a high level of accuracy. Notice, though, that on the repeated phrase, "what a nice little house," Isabella's reading becomes more fluent, and she is demonstrating some phrasing.
A nice little house, she said. The duck went in the little house. She said, "What a nice little house."
Here, even though she is reading repetitive text, her reading is staccato, fast, but word by word.
Little house. Then
Also notice that she stresses the word then, reflecting awareness of sentence structure.
the little house. The cow went out.
Isabella read The Nice Little House at 100% accuracy. She had one self-correction. Isabella is on the verge of fluent reading, but her voice still reflects the staccato effect used while pointing to each word. At this level, it is important that she develop more phrasing, and she also needs to read dialogue as talking. It will help her to read more text with dialogue and to be prompted to make her reading sound like talking. This reading would be rated a 1 for fluency.
This is Fluency tutorial number 3 at levels A through N in System 1. Please stop the movie immediately after the student reads. At this time, score the student. As the participant, you may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the movie and listening to the commentary given by the commentator. When you're ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators and move on to the next slide for more practice.
Joey, this book is called The Life of a Monarch Butterfly. And in this book, you're going to learn how a monarch butterfly changes from an egg to a caterpillar. You're going to read to find out how it turns its skin into a chrysalis and comes out as a butterfly. Okay?
The Life of a Monarch Butterfly.
Notice that Joey reflects the reading of the title before he moves into the text.
A tiny egg. A monarch butterfly laid the egg. Someday, After many chances have taken place, the egg will become a beautiful butterfly. Every butterfly starts out as an egg. The family butterfly looks for a good place to lay her eggs. Monarch butterflies lay their eggs on milky plants. Caterpillars, the eggs hatch after a few days. You might be.
Notice that Joey is having to do some problem solving, but he also reads in 2- and 3-word phrases. Sometimes he does not reflect ending punctuation, but he usually stops at periods.
Instead, a tiny caterpillar crawls out of each egg. A newborn caterpillar is so small you can hardly see it.
Joey speeds up on "you can hardly see it."
Not stay small very long. As soon as the caterpillar hatches, it starts to eat. First, the newborn caterpillar eats to its own eggshell. Then it starts to eat the milkweed plant. It crunches and munches like an eating machine. The caterpillar eats and eats and eats. The more it eats, the longer it grows. The larger it grows.
When Joey makes an error, he repeats to self-correct, and this reading is a little more phrased.
Like a pair of pants that are too small. Soon the caterpillar's old skin splits open, but the caterpillar has been growing a new, larger skin.
Joey read The Life of a Monarch Butterfly at 96% accuracy and had a self-correction ratio of 1:3. He is making good progress in reading in longer phrase units, as well as noticing and using the punctuation. He is still working to recognize and use punctuation. He needs some demonstration of how to use intonation to vary his voice. Joey's reading of this text would be rated a 2 on fluency.
Gross.
Okay, I'm going to let you finish reading silently, okay?
This is Fluency Tutorial number 1 at levels L through Z in System 2. Please stop the movie immediately after the student reads. At this time, score the student. As the participant, you may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the movie and listening to the commentary. When the participant is ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators, and move on to the next slide for more practice.
So this book is called Dogs at Work. Guide dogs help people in many different ways. Read to find out how they are trained and how they do many important jobs.
Who is your best friend? A best friend can be a classmate, a neighbor, or even a relative. But for some people, their best friend walks on 4 legs, is covered with fur, and takes them anywhere they need to go. It's a dog, but it's not just any dog. Their best friend is a guide dog. Guide dogs help blind people get from place to place and lead independent lives. With a guide dog, blind people can go to the grocery store, ride the bus, or take a trip on a plane. Guide dogs are allowed in places where most other dogs are not. Not just any dog can be a guide dog. A guide dog needs many months of training at a special school. At school, they learn to behave quietly, especially in public. Guide dogs have no focus on helping their owners. They are taught to ignore other things such as interesting smells and other animals. They also learn to keep still and quiet in busy places such as shopping malls or offices.
Notice that Stone is reading at a good pace with very high accuracy. He slows down to problem solve occasionally, and once in a while he misses pausing at a comma. However, he is reading mostly in 2, 3, and 4-word phrases. He stresses words appropriately and uses satisfactory, although not highly expressive, intonation. His score is a 3.
This is Fluency Tutorial number 2 at levels L through Z in System 2. Please stop the movie immediately after the student reads. At this time, score the student. As a participant, you may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the movie and listening to the commentary. When the participant is ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators.
In this book, an instinct is something you are born ready to do. Read to find about the instincts dogs and cats have.
Introduction. When you were a baby, you learned how to walk. Later, you learned how to read and do many other things. But some things you didn't need to learn. When you were an infant, for example, no one had to teach you how to cry when you were hungry. You were born knowing how to do that. A baby cries is one example of an instinct, a behavior that is built and not learned. Different animals are born with different instincts. Dogs and cats have many intellectual behaviors. Some of their actions might seem odd to us, yet our family pets are behaving in exactly the same way as their...
Trajan reads Animal Instincts, a Level P nonfiction book. Although he begins with more expression, as he moves along, Trajan's reading sounds mechanical. He places almost the same stress on every word. He reads rapidly, indicating that he is recognizing words quickly and automatically. He does consistently pause at ending punctuation, but his intonation does not reflect ending marks. His fluency score for this reading would be a 2. This text is easy for him, indicated by high accuracy. He will need only a little instruction to achieve more phrasing and intonation.
Packs and one family member as the leader of the...
This is Fluency Tutorial number 3 at levels L through Z in System 2. Please stop the movie immediately after the student reads. At that time, score the student. As the participant, you may want to discuss your findings with your teammates before resuming the movie and listening to the commentary. When the participant is ready, press play and compare your scores and reasoning with the commentators.
Valerie, the name of the story is Amazing Animal Adaptations. Animals in the rainforest rely on adaptations, ways they look or ways they behave to help them survive. Read to find out how these animals adapt to their environments.
Deep in the rainforest. Deep in the rainforest, after the sun has set, a sleek jaguar creeps along the forest floor. Hungry after a nap, the jaguar looks for prey or animals it will eat as a meal. The sky darkens and a giant anteater marches home. Its belly full of ants, it stays far away from the jaguar's path. High above them, a red-eyed tree frog clings to the underside of a broad leaf and waits for night to fall. How are these animals able to survive in the rainforest environment? They rely on adaptations. Ways that animals look or behave that allow them to survive in their surroundings. The jaguar. The jaguar is a powerful wildcat that prowls the rainforest as it hunts at dawn and dusk. The jaguar's tan and black spotted coat blends in with its surroundings. Its camouflage allows the jaguar to sneak up on its prey. Jaguars aren't exactly picky eaters. They eat animals both large and small. Jaguars have large heads and powerful jaws that allow them to be fearsome hunters. They are also skilled swimmers, able to snatch fish, turtles, and even small alligators from the water in the wet rainforest where they live. The giant anteater. The anteater.
Valerie's processing of words is smooth, but at times she mumbles her words and sounds a bit robotic. She sometimes reads over periods. She could benefit from slowing down and listening to how her oral reading sounds. Reader's theater would be beneficial. Her score is a 2.
After completing the fluency assessment, the participant may be wondering, now what? How do I go about developing, maintaining, and increasing the fluency in my readers? Fountas and Pinnell have provided a list of possible fluency building activities to be used after assessments are complete. The final task in today's module is to review this list and discuss the different levels of support that are provided. Thank you for participating in Module 3, Fluency.